This is my fall garden raised bed. This is a 9-1 Birdies. This one was from Gardener Supply. The Bacopa has been here the whole season. The center stuff has all been changed out. It was potatoes. Harvested the potatoes, put a bunch of compost back in, and planted a bunch of seeds right in here. Fall lettuce starts. Been eating baby's lettuce already. It's been great. Pelleted carrot seeds, which have done really well here. Then I've got a row of beets that are doing well. And then I've got, I think there's like 6 or 8 bush beans. I think they're maybe Blue Lake, I can't remember. But this bed is nice and full for the fall. Carrots are for storage, and then we've got the lettuce we're eating now, the beets storage, and the beans are mostly storage as well as dog treats. This 9-in-1 Birdies raised bed from Gardener Supply also is potatoes. This one got hit by the storm. They were really high. They were actually higher than that trellis here, and they got toppled over. Some of them broke off. I had to do some cleanup here. We had been fertilizing. This is a second crop of potatoes in this bed. We've got from Wood Prairie Farm, we've got Blue Adirondack, Yukon Gold, and Russet. The potato bugs have definitely gotten in here. I kind of gave up, lost time trying to deal with them, but the potatoes seem to be fine. If you haven't watched my Instagram video of stealing potatoes, I've got some really nice ones out of here already, so we'll be harvesting this in the next few weeks. This is one of the tall 8-in-1 raised beds from Epic Gardening of Kevin over there. We've got I don't know, quite a bit of stuff in here. This bed has had a few things change over. I've just gone through and removed a bunch of stuff over the last few weeks. We're starting to get blight, so I've got to actually take these tomatoes out. But I do have zinnias and marigolds and alyssum. I had a lot of onions. I keep harvesting them to dry them out as they fall over as the next break. Got lower and lean tomatoes using the PVC trellis, zip ties, and the spools from Johnny Seeds. I much prefer doing the lower and lean method on the lower beds for the tomatoes, so I think I will switch that this next year and not do tomatoes in here. But overall, this bed has done really well. I don't love the fact that the tomatoes are touching the ground, and you can see the blight that I have to get out of here as quickly as possible. There is an orangey sweet bell sweet pepper in the middle there. We've got our celery in the center, which worked really nicely because I didn't have to get in here that much. Every once in a while I'll take some stalks. This is a celery root. You can see the ball at the bottom. So you can still use the celery stalks, and you can still use the celery greens for celery salt, which I'm drying some right now. But the celery root is new to us, so we're gonna try that this year and see how it goes. But this is, again, another full bed. This bed had lettuce in it, had basil in it, still has a little basil left in it. You could do one of these beds or 2 of these beds and feed a family pretty easily with certain vegetables, certain salad stuff or salsa stuff, and get quite a lot of produce out of here. This bed was a bed of wild tomatoes that I didn't stake up and let go. There was grape tomatoes and Romas and Mountain Magics and a few others. And then I have the carrots that I started late in here. And then these are the lettuce transplants from the other bed, from the 9-in-1 raised bed. And we are eating this lettuce already. It is delicious. I did put some late zinnias in here that I started. And then this is supposed to be a sweet banana pepper, but it is not. I'm not really sure what it is. Not very spicy, but one of the peppers I actually did purchase. So this is another 9-in-1 raised bed, a tall bed from Epic Gardening. We've got the osteospermum or African daisy that has really taken over. And then marigolds, and I did have quite a bit of onions. Most of them have been harvested out of here. So that is another 8-in-1 raised bed. This 8-in-1 raised bed, we have cayennes, marigolds, and alyssum. There's some basil in here as well. Basil's kind of going by at this point. Picked the cayennes this week already. We have probably harvested close to 12, 15 pounds of cayennes out of this garden, ripe red, which is fantastic. They're doing really well. And I have, I think it's 15, can't really remember, cayennes in this one bed, which has allowed us to do fermenting, pickling of cayennes, and using it also as in salsas, and also a base for a lot of the other hot sauces with the super hots. That's going well. I'm leaving the marigolds in because the bees are really loving them. So this bed, again, 8-in-1 raised bed. I can't remember the exact dimensions, but I think these are just under 4 feet wide and just under 8 feet long. They're not quite a 4x8. But another full bed, doing really well. Grew most of this stuff from seed. I think just the little yellow marigolds weren't from seed in this bed. Another tall 8-in-1 from Epic Gardening. We've got our celery. You can see the celery root here is doing really well. Then we've got the late season carrots for storage. And in the middle, I transplanted a summer squash. So I've been eating summer squashes still, which is pretty awesome. And beets that were late season planted, more celery root, and carrots on the back end. Again, this is a nice full bed. I should have thinned the carrots, and I didn't. I'm not very good at that. I hate wasting them, so I just let them go. And we'll get what we get. I've been picking them out of here, though, to thin them as we need them or as we want to give them to the dogs for treats. But this bed, again, nice and full, very successful for this season. This 8-in-1 bed, tall bed, also from Epic Gardening, has a bunch of carrots that have just gone wild. We also have a bunch of mild to hot peppers in here, so I'll go through those really quickly. But you can see these were not planted very long ago, and they are doing really well for carrots. So been thinning them out again as we want to give dog treats versus thinning them out just to thin them out. At this end, we do have poblanos. These ones are really small compared to the ones in the bags. They didn't do as well. I have marigolds in almost every bed. I think that's probably helped us with deer quite a bit. Pepperoncinis, and then we've got serranos, and then here we've got all the Thai chilies. And I will say, for these being so small to pick, having them up on the higher level has been much better. And these also took off after I planted my late carrots. And you can kind of see this side isn't as grown up as that side with the carrots, but they're still doing really well. I'd call this another success. This is 2 tall 8-in-1 raised beds put together to make our tunnel, modeled off of Self-Sufficient Me, Mark down in Australia. We have lots of peppers in here. These were the leftover randoms. It's Anaheims and cayennes here. Got some jalapenos. All these peppers so far that I've shown you, I have actually started from seed. We did sell a bunch and we did trade a bunch. Some of our carrots did get that, can't remember what it's called, but basically the browning of the leaves, so not ideal. But I think it's one variety actually, because I switched with variety, and one variety seems to be hit much harder. we did beans up on the top as well as cucumbers, and then this one rogue pumpkin decided to grow, which was awesome actually because my other pumpkins didn't do well. This one did, up until the squash bugs really got them. And then we've got these ones I did purchase. These are Italian slicers over here. So those are finally taken off. But this one was really a pain to get put together to get it level, and you can see it's still a little wonky. So as soon as this season's over and we empty out this bed, we're gonna actually add a bunch more supports that we purchased to put in there. And then the cattle panels actually go down quite a bit in here. We did do layering of the lasagna method, where you do the soil and like wood stumps and things like that. Seeing that we have a lot of land here, it was pretty easy to go collect lumber. This is the last bed that we installed. Again, this is a 2 tall 8-in-1s put together. It's about 16 feet long, just under 2 feet wide. This is both a pumpkin and a watermelon trying to escape that I planted really late. I probably won't get any watermelon this year, but I was wishful and I wanted to. But look at my summer squash. So we are doing pretty well here. We've got a baby watermelon up here. We'll see if we end up with a late frost for some reason. And then the pumpkins are the baby Pam pie pumpkins. I've put some basil in here. We've got some cilantro in here. The wall of grape tomatoes is doing really well. I need to pick those. Some more lettuce starts over here. I tried to sprinkle out the lettuce the best I could. I couldn't seem to give it away this year. And then here's the second pumpkin. We've already picked the first pumpkin off of the plant that actually wraps around. But being that this was I think like a mid-July bed start, I'm really happy with this. The grape tomato I started in early July, and I don't even think we got this done until mid or end of July. I'd have to look. But considering that, this is doing really well. Of course, we do buy the quality compost and manure from a local farm and things like that. And I do fertilize with some organic granulars and side dressings as needed. Marigolds have been doing really well here too. We have deer in the yard every night. We've not had any deer issue in the gardens here. This little bed is the extra 4 corners from the tunnel beds. I need to take out the basil. It's gotten blight or rust or whatever it's called. So that's kind of gone by. But I do have some beets in here and some lettuce that are doing well. And I added one of the late season zinnias, try to get some late blooms out of that. We have another one we need to put together as well. But nice to have a little extra growing space, never a bad thing. So these last 4 beds are all 8-in-1 short beds from Epic Gardening. I've just removed all the tomatoes, so you're going to see the empty trellises on this side due to blight. And I've already been transferring and pulling out quite a bit of things out of these beds as we get near to the end of the season. I've got some basil. This is still pretty healthy left. Again, more lettuce starts, some zinnia, some marigolds. We've had some good storms today, so I do need to come back and clean up some of the giant marigolds. We've got beets in here, and then a bunch of parsley that I keep on cutting for drying. This bed had, it had a cherry tomato, a Mountain Magic, which is like a 2-ounce mini slicer, and then it had 5 beefsteak heirloom tomatoes in here going up to the trellis. Got quite a bit out of this bed, but up until a few weeks ago, Labor Day week, all of this was a huge brush and blocked a lot of the western sun. So now that this is all open, this will get a lot better airflow and we'll get much better late sun. This next one, I've got leeks in it, and turns out we don't really love leeks, so now I got to figure out what to do because I don't want to waste them. So we're going to figure out that. I've got some more osteospermums, just the purple ones, some marigolds, some more zinnias in here, some parsley, some spicy oregano, alyssum, helps with the hoverflies, some more oregano and parsley over on this side. So this again had 6 tomatoes and did really well this year with the lower lean method over here. This one also had 6 tomatoes. This was Cherokee Carbons. Tons of basil that I planted right in this bed from seed, and then I started spreading them out throughout the other beds. This is my second set of basil. Also lobelia that I really love from seed. More lettuce starts in here. Parsley that I've been picking, some osteospermum, the daisy, African daisies, and marigolds. This also had a bunch of onions and a few leeks that were extras. This last short 8-in-1 raised bed from Epic Gardening also had 6 tomatoes in it. They were all big beef, which is a beefsteak heirloom hybrid. This one I had a ton of onions in it. I've got a lot of basil in it now that's going by. I've got lettuce starts, alyssum, marigolds. These giant marigolds have taken over. But the monarchs love them, so I'm kind of just letting them be, as well as the zinnias here. And then these reddish orange marigolds are not my favorite, but I planted these from seed, and I cannot believe how much bigger they got than the ones I bought at the local farm stand. So that was really kind of funny, like seeing that big of a difference. I did try to plant some kohlrabi in here. It didn't do very well, got eaten. And then I also have some Thai basil in this bed. That's almost got like a licorice flavor to it, which is interesting. But again, the trellises worked really well. Big fan of the lower lean method with the spools from Johnny Seeds. My husband and dad built the PVC trellises and designed them, and they worked great with zip ties, though I do want to get some heavier duty UV okay zip ties or something to hang on it for next year. And my goal will be to not have to put tomatoes in the tall beds next year and only put tomatoes in these ones. So I think what I'll do is potentially we'll add some more short beds going into next season. Now that's the overview of every one of these raised beds here in September 22nd. Overall, I'm very happy with the outcome of this garden. There's only a few things that I want to change for next year right now. I was hoping to have more lessons learned, but instead I just want more garden space, but it is a bit of work. These beds, the weeds were not bad. I was able to come out here pretty easily and do one bed at a time, so that worked out great. We mostly did compost, the compost mulch concept where the compost actually crusts over and you get less weeds that way. And then I also tend to overcrowd my beds so I don't get as much opportunity for the weeds. There were a few beds like the cayenne bed and the bell pepper bed, which I did actually put straw down, which worked out well for those. But I also think that the cayennes ended up having a little bit more of a bug issue because of that. So that's kind of the recap of all the raised beds over here. We've got whiskey barrels, we've got some grow bags also out here, and then we also have pots in the greenhouse. So a lot going on, but overall very happy with this year's garden. If I didn't say it yet, we have surpassed 225 pounds of processed tomatoes. That's not including ones that we've given away or ones that we've eaten or made with for food right out of the garden. So huge tomato year this year. Hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it.